The NFL draft is literally 1 month away. We finally get to see where some of these stud prospects go. Some of these landing spots, similar to video one, where I just went over the first round, some bold predictions. We're going to get into round two. Now, kicking off the top of the second round at pick 33, the Carolina Panthers desperately need to add weapons to that offensive scheme. And I definitely think a guy like Xavier Worthy, assuming that he is still available, is going to be a great pick for the desperate need that Bryce Young needs some speed on the perimeter. This team last season was old and slow. They finally went out there and got Deontay Johnson, which is a great, reliable target for Bryce Young. You get Xavier Worthy, the speed that offense desperately needs. And look, if that old line doesn't shape up, Bryce Young's going to have to get that ball out quick, so they need some quick wide receivers outside on that perimeter. Now at pick number 34, the Patriots are sitting here. I think the first couple picks in the second round, we're going to see a lot of wide receivers go off the board. So I think the Patriots go ahead and keep the trend going and go ahead and get a wide receiver here, Xavier Legette. Now he's probably going to be moved up in a lot of people rankings and draft boards when this pick is made, being that they don't have much on that offense that looks really appealing to the quarterback that they're assuming to be taking in the first round. So you get a guy like Xavier Legette who has the size, who also has the speed that he was able to show at the combine. This dude is a great prospect. He is a player that is going to be able to make some day one impact and that much needed weapons that the New England Patriots lack. So I definitely think this would be a good pick for Xavier Legette and a great pick for the Patriots and that rookie quarterback that they draft in the first round. Now we skip over a couple picks at pick number 36 for the Commanders. I think they go wide receiver here. I told you it's going to be a lot of wide receivers that I think are going to go off the board in the first couple of picks. A lot of names that we would love to see to make some fantasy noise in their impactful years. And I think Commanders with a quick replacement of Curtis Samuel, who was very productive in that slot position for the Commanders in back-to-back seasons. He's now in Buffalo, so you make a quick replacement and you draft Ladd McConkey that I think you could put in the slot, could be very impactful for that offense and kind of help out, outside of perimeter as well. But you also get a guy that is a smooth route runner, a very reliable receiver that has great hands. And I think Ladd McConkey is a nice plug and play for Cliff and for that quarterback that they draft in the first round. Now, at pick 37, this is going to be a bold prediction for sure because I was kind of in between of what to put here. At first, I had them pegged as a running back here, being that, they need a running back, but they obviously said that Gus Edwards is their bell cow. So I was thinking about maybe they go wide receiver here because there's not much in that room. And let's just assume in the first round that they go Joe Alt, to get the best offensive tackle to kind of show that they're in the direction that they want to ground and pound and run the ball. Let's assume that is what's happening in the first round. But if they don't get a wide receiver in the first round, I think Roman Wilson, a nice familiar face in Jim Harbaugh's system. He is in Michigan. He's a wide receiver that's a deep threat. You can kind of rely on him to understand the system already because he's been with Jim already in the previous college years. So it's like, man, a quick little plug and play here for some reassurance that you're not going to miss out on a wide receiver prospect. I think Roman Wilson here kind of makes sense. Now, pick number 38, let's talk about the Titans here. Now, they added Calvin Ridley to the wide receiver room, so they addressed that area. Give Will Levis another weapon. Now, why not add another wide receiver here? I know I'm getting wide receiver happy, but these wide receivers are deep this year, and they could be impactful players, contributors on day one. And I think a guy like Ricky Pearsall, a smooth route runner, they call him Pretty Ricky for a reason, and he makes some really, really difficult catches in traffic and everything else, but here's the thing about this pick. You give Will Levis the best chance to succeed in this offense. You're obviously showing you're going in a pass direction. You're obviously not drawing back the running game, but you need a guy that's going to be able to separate, and you can put him in the slide. You can put him outside, end seam, outside the numbers, wherever you want to put Pretty Ricky. He is a smooth route runner that can get separation. So is D-Hop. So is Calvin Ridley. Once you get these weapons on the field, there's not a chance that Will Levis will fail because he has too much talent around him. Now we're jumping over to the Raiders at pick 44. Now, it's not a wide receiver. I know I got a lot of wide receiver happy, but here's the bold prediction is that they're going to pick a quarterback here, Michael Penix Jr. Now, a lot of teams were worried about his concern about his health, his injury history, but the dude looks healthy. He looked great throwing at the combine, and I think Penix Jr. fits in and gets that competition going because they really don't have much there behind Aiden O'Connell, and I know they're not going into the season with no QB competition whatsoever. receiver. So I think this is a great pick. And what makes this so bold, I think Bo Nix will still be available at this point, and I think Michael Penix Jr. gets chosen before him. At pick 51, we got the Steelers. Now, they lost Deontay Johnson to trade to the Panthers, so I think here they need to add one of these wide receivers. It may not necessarily be here at this pick, but a guy like Jermaine Burton will be a nice plug and play here for the replacement of Deontay Johnson. He's the king of trash talkers. He brings that underdog, hungry type of mentality to that wide receiver room, and they added Van Jefferson to the wide receiver room, so I don't think it is enough for them to go into the season with Van Jefferson as a starting wide receiver. Being that I'm a Rams fan, it's kind of sad to see him on his journey this way, being that he suffered a knee injury to where I think he lost his step. Getting a guy like Jermaine Burton, he's hungry. He's able to run pretty much every single route in the route tree. He didn't have much production in Georgia, but in Alabama, he found some success, found a way to really stand out. And I think Jermaine Burton here fits for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Picture perfect. Now at pick 56 in the second round, you got the Dallas Cowboys sitting here. Now, I know a lot of people have them picked here to pick a running back, which I do agree because they desperately need a running back. They kind of missed out on free agency. Even some really quality guys that they could have went out there and get, they did not go and get. There is still a possibility of a Ezekiel Elliott reunion, but a lot of people have the Dallas Cowboys pegged here of taking Jonathan Brooks from Texas, who's returning back from an ACL injury that he suffered in college, but I really think that, he still should be on the right path of returning to be ready for camp. But what if the Dallas Cowboys go a different direction at running back here? If they really look at that running back room and see that Rico Dow is not going to be the guy that they want to rely on if Jonathan Brooks has any type of setbacks or a re-injury. I think they go here and just navigate through all the talk and they get to Trey Benson as their guy as a running back that can be a workhorse. He's very explosive. He could do a little bit of everything. If you want him to catch passes, I'm sure you could probably get him to catch passes as well, but he's an explosive back. He's a big body back, 6-foot guy that you can really mold and develop into your workhorse. At least you have some type of security where he's not suffering from injury, or he's getting into a guy that has some type of off-field issues, et cetera, et cetera. Trey Benson is a great pick here. I know a lot of people will say it's high in the second round. They could have waited, but they desperately need a running back to lock up going into the next season. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on some of your bold predictions for the NFL draft for the second round. And make sure you guys check out part 1, the round 1, where some picks that got a little bit spicy, I should say, but hopefully some of these picks happen because I'll be really excited for some of these players, some of these offensive players to really get picked and be in position to be fantasy relevant. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. You guys can follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.